Wagwan Gym to people, Sanjo Che here. Welcome back to the channel. Of course, it's Sunday, so, and I mean, I hope you guys are having an awesome Sunday. Have your dinner being cooked and all these things. But yo, of course it's Boruto Sunday as per usual, and today we tackle episode 233, which honestly, it's crazy that we've made it this far in terms of episode count. But yo, I'm hoping this episode is a nice cherry on top of the madness that was Boruto manga chapter 66. Yo, that was insane. Of course, I did a reaction review stream the other day, so you can definitely check that out. If anything, I'll link to that. But yeah, I hope you guys are having an awesome day. Let's just jump into the review / reaction for today's episode. The way this has been like portrayed and set up so far, it does seem like it might be a more than one episode type of deal, which I'm actually hoping for. Are we dealing with pirates? Alright, so this is gonna be like the new Team 7 jumps into action. This is going to be the first major issue I think persons are going to have. And it's Kawaki's headband, as minor as that sounds. On the rare chance that you're anime only. This basically contradicts something that happens into the manga. And I mean, it wouldn't be the first the anime changes things, but you know, I think that was supposed to be a big, I wouldn't even want to say a big moment, but it should be a big symbolic moment, I suppose, when it came on to that manga chapter that, you know, Boruto is supposed to be, you know, offering Kawaki a headband and all that. So in the grand scheme of things, I'm wondering how they're going to handle things when it comes on to getting back to that particular manga chapter, like how basically the ripple effect of, you know, what changes are going to take place when the anime actually gets to adapting that particular chapter. So yeah, I think that's the interesting thing at the end of it. Granted, even thinking back on it, I don't think they even adapted the full Horde Ishiki conversation properly either way. Man, them tired of it. Escort Katasuke, dog. Some shit always a go with them escort him. Yeah, we couldn't bother them. We couldn't bother. The ocean, yo. But I know, for some reason, man, I say like, this is Kawaki having like an Eren / Armin moment. Hey, if we kill all the persons in the mist, will we? Yo. Man seasick, Chano. Yeah, I know. Kawaki. Kawaki just like him, just done, brother. If nothing else, when it comes down to these anime only episodes, look, I never try to hide the fact that I'm not enthusiastic about a lot of the anime only stuff in Boruto, but there are some, you know, I've said it time and time again, there are some goal episodes a lot of times too among the ocean of anime only stuff, and sometimes getting episodes like this where you get characters I actually care about, like Kawaki obviously, and just seeing the interactions with them. Episodes like this are actually good, you see me? Nah, Kawaki just seemed like him done. Oh, Denki's still here. Alright. I kind of like what they're doing now. If they're going to tie Denki's group back into the main thing here, then fine. Oh no, the Shinonome can turn, rough seas into calm. I'm sure nobody is going to be interested in, taking control of that. If nothing else, I do like Boruto's attempt to involve the feudal lords a bit more. I mean, with everything that happened with the quote-unquote new 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist, I guess I can't blame Kagura, really. Katasuke acting smart, doing Boruto a favor. Hey man, it's been like, I don't know, 200 episodes. How you been? I don't remember that character. I honestly don't. Yes, me. Alright, so I was right. Pirates. It's serious. Like some super water style user. I wonder if we'll get to see Chojuro being worthless in this little arc again. Oh, there we go. Problem starts. Anybody can use Susano, no QB, no nothing to just. Oh wait, no, Drama's dead. Shit. What? Well, I guess his son is dead. Alright, seems I got my wish. We do appear, well, it does appear like we'll be getting a multi-episode or a little mini arc when it comes on to the events here in the Mist Village. I must say, definitely a nice episode, definitely a very interesting watch, especially since, we're following characters that we actually care about for the most part. Of course, Kawaki, well, the new Team 7 overall. And we're back in the Mist Village, a village that was, I think, it was the first arc. Yeah, the trip to the Mist was like the first big, event in the Boruto anime where the characters actually left outside of Konoha, right? So it kind of feels like we're coming full circle, coming back to our quote-unquote new generation roots. So there's that for you. Now, I will say, from the perspective of a manga reader, it is interesting, and I'm going to repeat the issue I think manga readers have with, anime-only content in general. I've said it time and time again on this channel, but yeah, this is interesting, and these are going to be pluses for the episode. Seeing them go outside Konoha again, kind of get a sense of what's happening in the world, specifically in the Mist Village. Them having a new energy policy, developing this, developing that, to get a sense of how things are developing outside of Konoha. It kind of feels like it makes the world of Naruto / Boruto a bit more immersive. You're not just stationed in Konoha, and we don't explore the potential of the other villages in terms of what's happening. So these are all pluses to the Boruto story right now, especially for things being anime only. And of course, a lot of persons would look at it and say, yo, this is the place for anime only content. This is what anime only content is for, quote unquote. But I think from the perspective of a manga reader, and yes, I've said it time and time again, manga readers want to know that all these politics and developments outside the village are good, but how does it tie back into the main story in the grand scheme of things? Like, once we leave this arc, will it like pop up in any shape or form, or you know, that's the thing at the end of it. And this is the thing I keep trying to bring home when it comes on to anime only content, where it's like, yes, a lot of the times the episodes aren't bad enough, they aren't really and truly, but in the grand scheme of things, are we just using these self-contained arcs to pass time? Can we use the time that we're, you know, having in these episodes to really tie back into the manga content? Because if not, then to be honest, you can't blame persons who complain about the Boruto anime. You really and truly can't blame them. So it's a very, I wouldn't want to say 50-50, but kind of contradictory feeling when it comes down to the Boruto anime, where, as I said, the one-off episodes or these arcs can be good, but at the same time, if it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, then, and I mean, on certain levels it does matter in the grand scheme of things, because we could use them to really, you know, flesh out certain characters, tie back in their developments to like the main story and thing, but at least on some levels. But it is what it is. Those general complaints that I've repeated time and time again don't really take away from the positives that this episode, you know, brought to the table. Of course, just even seeing Kawaki and his interactions and exploring the world, that's very interesting, to say the least, if nothing else. I found it really funny to see him, you know, be on the ship, be seasick, and it was just ridiculous. Honestly, it was. And of course, even getting some new locations again, you know, the contrast between the Mist Village and seeing their developments to what we're used to in Konoha, it actually feels like a refreshing experience going into this episode. And as much as some persons may or may not have liked the last episode with like with Denki and thing, the fact that they're tying it in and potentially linking things up for, you know, the various groups that are on the Mist Village from Konoha to potentially, you know, link up, that is potential for, you know, one big climax potentially at the end of this whole event in the Mist Village, to say the least. So that's going to be interesting. Of course, seeing Kagura again, definitely, you know, nice, and setting things up with the pirates, and just even learning more about the history of the Mist Village outside of, you know, the Blood Mist, or, you know, Zabuza or Haku, or, you know, outside of all of that. So that's all positives for this episode. I'm actually looking forward to seeing where they go with this arc. Of course, again, since it's anime only, I think the major concern is, and this is the thing, I mean, it's not filler, but for all intents and purposes, let's just call it filler, right? One of the main issues persons have had with filler over the years is an accurate representation of the abilities of the characters, and I think that's going to be like one concern going forward. Let's just hope they get represented properly. Let's hope Chojuro, the Mizukage, actually is actually competent this time around when it comes down to this arc. Who knows, maybe I'm not remembering the field trip to the Mist properly, and Chojuro was actually a badass. Who knows, maybe I'm misremembering, because even when we were talking with Kagura, the conversation between Kagura and Boruto, I didn't even remember some of the character names. I'm not even going to hide that, honestly. So yeah, but all in all, I thought this was a pretty good episode. I didn't really have much problems with it, if at all. Very immersive. A lot of things to say, oh shit, that's, you know, fun fact. And of course, we do end this episode off with the start of some conflict. Of course, the trip to the Shinonome, the #1 blimp, exploded very violently. So it's going to be interesting to see how things develop in terms of how the people of the Mist are going to react, or I mean, they are voicing their complaints in terms of the developments. And of course, how could I forget the even tying back in of, you know, the Boruto Naruto in the movie / you know, the Chunin exam arc with Boruto's stance on, you know, scientific ninja weapons, or at least between the Chunin exams and, you know, the OW arc. So, you know, tying that back into, you know, the developments that are going on in the Mist, it's a nice way for Boruto, well, them to tie it back in. Now that was like a long winding character arc for Boruto. It was an arc nonetheless, but not really like a long winding. So I guess in the grand scheme of things, any tie back into, you know, development of technology here in the Mist is going to be surface level, superficial in terms of how Boruto can connect back to it in terms of its developments there. But it's a plus nonetheless. Might be a small plus, but a plus nonetheless. So all in all, I thought this was a pretty good episode. So let me know what you guys think. Of course, leave a like, and Sanjuichi, I'll see you in the next video for today.